Many years ago, I was familiarizing myself with the literature on diversity in higher education. And it became quickly apparent to me that a lot of the literature and a lot of the empirical evidence we had around diversity was of this nature. It was fairly negative. When we looked at it, it didn't include anything about what institutions might be doing right, or what they could be doing right in order to foster more inclusive and equitable environments. So if you look at the literature, you're going to see a lot of these kinds of themes. Right? So faculty of color will talk a lot about experiencing hostility in the classroom, or students, especially white students, challenging their authority. They'll talk a lot about being scrutinized for the types of research agendas that they have, or their research agendas being devalued by their institutions. They'll talk about feeling marginalized and isolated on campus, being a token. We started to re-examine the literature and the quotations or the data that people use in the literature on faculty diversity. And we started to do focus groups and things with faculty in order to look at their experience from a different angle. One of the things that we have learned over the last decade or several decades is that when it comes to diversity efforts in higher ed, they become too focused on microscopic sort of efforts and actions. So if we do these 4 things, then we are doing enough. And then those 4 things wind up being isolated, and they don't lead to larger systemic transformations. Cultural validation is one that's fairly self-explanatory, I usually say, because I always say, who doesn't want to feel valued, right? Especially at an institution where they spend half of their life, or maybe more if you're like me. But the degree to which institutions acknowledge and value faculty members, communities, backgrounds, and identities. I added a few examples of how symbolically institutions can create the conditions for faculty who are diverse to feel validated. So things like missions that explicitly address social, there's a typo there, not explicitly addresses, but explicitly address social problems and serve marginalized communities. Clear and consistent commitment from campus leadership, diversity and equity efforts that are embedded throughout the institution, centralized physical locations for units that are specifically for diversity, inclusion, and equity, and the investment of people across the campus community in these efforts so that people are not, people who are committed to these issues don't feel like they're the only ones who care and are doing this work.